brain.
Ooh, man. Okay. All right. Good morning, people. Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
So Chris is here. He's here after all. But I want to make sure I let everybody know that you are watching Touch Base Daily with Ron Foster and friends. That's what this is.
Yes. We're the
Friends
friends.
are in today. The friends are here. We still have the keys to this house.
Yes. Yes.
So there you
The
go.
crazies are running the crazy house.
Crazy house. So before we get there, Mr. Edwards, how are you, sir? How are you?
I'm good. It's hump day, middle of the week. I feel as though like we get here so fast. And the marker for me is always Taco Tuesday.
Really?
Tuesday, I feel like Tuesday just rolls around extremely fast. There's no such thing as a weekend anymore because by the time you blink, it's done.
Yeah.
Monday is just like, all right, we got to catch up and get the rest of the week prepared. So when Tuesday comes around, it's just like, I can't believe it's Tuesday. Plus, I look forward to Taco Tuesday. I look forward to the margaritas and the shrimp tacos.
You make a really good point. I sat down about maybe a few weeks ago to figure out like the last quarter, right? So we're October, November, December. Because I started planning for 2026 in October. And I was like, it's October, Gwendolyn. There is still a list of things I would like to get done for the year is over. We are not there yet. Now is the time. I mean, I got some time, but I'm like, what happened? And what did I do? And I'm happy that I'm here, that we got here, because I wasn't so sure. I was like, Lord, just, if you got to, you can take me out, which is not what I really want, but you can take me out.
Might be better than being in this place right now.
Well, okay, so let me say this, and we do have some things planned for today. I do want to talk about D'Angelo, and I'm going to say mortality, right? Mm-hmm. But when all of this happened, I really said to myself, how am I supposed to get through this? I was like, could I be like a Rip Van Winkle and be asked to put like a coma and then wake up when it's all over? Because you ask yourself, what am I really capable of handling? And then you do recognize when you look at your life, how much BS you have gone through. Like we have had some storms, some stormy storms. So it's like, Gwendolyn, you can do this, but you're also going to need your community, your friends, your family to help you get through all of this.
Yeah. I think, going to the D'Angelo story, I think yesterday it really hit us all like a ton of bricks. And I think like the way you handled it yesterday was spot on. I think we need to allow ourselves to have those moments. We're human beings. And we're entitled to our feelings and our emotions. And just because we're doing something like this doesn't mean that we cut those feelings and emotions off. So I'm glad you took like a moment to like just have that moment. One, it shows who you are. You're an emotional and a caring human being. And sometimes it's good to see that about the people that are on these platforms. Because you don't seem like a robot. You don't seem as though you're just untouchable on the other side of the screen, if you know what I mean.
I do. Yeah. Well, before we get it, because I really do want to talk about D'Angelo and all the thoughts I had, let's say some hellos, right? Because Hannah's here. Good morning, Hannah. Good morning. Y'all not gonna get this next week. Jazzy's here. Yes, I have a thing for singing. It's there. It's in my blood.
It runs in the Touch Base Daily family.
I know. I know. Good morning to Chris. Hannah is saying good morning to myself and to Chris as well. Jazz said, I had this on in the background. I forgot and it scared me. It must be, was it on loud? Was it on? I like how you are ready for the show. Ron's going to appreciate that. We've got our hellos coming in. Bryson's in the building as he says, what's up, Gwendolyn? What's up, Chris? What's up, everybody? Happy Chicago Wednesday. Happy Wicked Wednesday. Yes, it is. It's a little wicked. Ms. Elise is in the building. Good morning to you, Ms. Elise. And we have more hellos coming in from everybody. He says, everybody heard that yesterday that D'Angelo passed away and D Nice did a tribute to him. There's a lot of tributes coming in. I want to, we are going to talk about that. We're going to get into it now. Sean Samuels is my cousin. Hello, fam. Good morning to you. Hello, fam. It's an alter ego, but I love it. But it's a good thing I know. I was like, who is Sean Samuels? Who is that? Now I know. Now I know who it is. But we have all the hellos coming in. Dr. Tachi is also in the building. And so let me get to this. Let's go.
Great show yesterday with Dr. Tasha, by the way. You was busy yesterday.
Oh, we were busy yesterday. We were busy. We had, it was a great day yesterday. I talk a lot. I mean, I talk a lot anyway, but then I talked a lot yesterday. Quite a bit.
Did?
We had a great time talking about Paris Fashion Week. And I was like, oh man, the memories, living in New York, doing what I do, picking out my next fashions, getting in line for sample sales. And well.
I do miss those.
But you know what? When you compare, okay, so for some of us photographers, when we start getting the equipment, sample sales become really, really important because we can't do it like we used to do. Just saying, so we traded some of those sample sales and like literally, I used to get myself one DVF dress literally every other year. Well, it was every year at one point, starting in 2005. And then when I really got into my photography, I had to switch that out. I was like, I can't do both. Not right now, because we're not quite there yet. So yeah.
I had an aunt that was in fashion and she had all the hookups. So we were just, let's put it like this. Like when it came to the end of the season, like winter season, my family has leather coats going back decades, like coats and just really nice clothing. Because she worked in fashion her entire life.
Yeah.
She worked for some of the big brands.
It is it's good times. And I have to say this, I really enjoyed, it's Wilson's Leather. I really enjoyed Wilson's Leather. Okay.
Oh wow, yeah, I remember them.
Because if you could get like a really good Sherpa, suede, black leather, something, it was all the things. It was all the things, but what can I tell you? It was a great conversation. It really was. And I like a great sample sale too. I do. We can't get sample sales are the bomb. They're the bomb diggity. So let us get into our conversation, shall we? Because I had this thought and I just want to throw it up here because we are remembering D'Angelo this morning. We are going to remember D'Angelo this morning. Now, if we get to the other conversations, we will get to them, right? If we get to it, because it really all depends on where this goes for us. I just want to say that. So yesterday, we got the news while we were live yesterday. And I had a moment. And I'm gonna share some behind the scene things. So Ron and I talk about death a lot. Okay. My mother is a retired minister. I've gone to a lot of funerals and she has done a lot of eulogies. But even with that, it doesn't mean that I would have the same feeling about death as she does. It just so happens that I kind of do. And it came when my rabbit was getting older. Typically rabbits live to be about 5 years. You know what I mean? And so when he turned 5 years old, I was like, he's about to, kill over. And if you've ever had a pet, you know that pets have a different place in your heart. I know their property legally, but they have a different place. And I just kept waiting for him to, cross the rainbow bridge. And he didn't. Not until he was like almost 10 years old. And I had to put him down because he was drowning. There was fluid in his lungs. But it got me to thinking about death and mortality, right? And preparing for it and just how selfish death can be. Hear me clearly. When we know that a loved one is ill, no offense, low key, some of us are actually happy about it. And I know this sounds awful, but walk with me. It is the change. It is that unknown. And because we see it coming, we can prep our life for it. What would the house look like, sound like, smell like when this person is not here, right? We start prepping ourselves for what the future will be without this person physically in our presence. It's there. My mother had a stroke, and being in the house with my dad and she wasn't there, it hit me. I was like, this is what the house sounds like when there's only one parent. Am I ready for that? Like, am I ready
Hmm.
for it? So when my dad got sick, it was the reverse, but we had been there. So it was this different sound. He wasn't in his chair, and we could see this coming. It is not the same where 2010, myself and my cousin were at a birthday party, and my cousin and his twin had gotten to this really awful argument, and he was intoxicated. And when we left the house, he didn't have the keys. Okay. We get to Houston. It's an hour later. We get a phone call. He has passed away.
Mm.
And that one was different because I was like, I just saw him. We
Yeah.
were just there.
It's when it's unexpected. I think that's when it really hits you because it's like either I just saw the person, I just spoke with them, we just hung out, we had a good time. This person is healthy. You know, listen, we all know that there are two things that are promised. Once you're born, you're going to die,
Mhm.
and we all are, just here on borrowed time. But when you don't see it coming, it hits you like a mad truck, literally. You know. Um, we and especially as we get older and we're aging, we know that the people around us, especially our loved ones that are older than us, they're having that moment where they're coming to the end of their life. I'm The realization is really setting in for me this year because I'm going to turn 50 next month, and I'm realizing that I have probably lived I have less days ahead of me than I have behind me now. you
Yeah.
know and I'm not afraid of that because I just feel as though every day that I get is like a gift, and I'm just going to live the best life I can live and just be happy with what I have. But we all have to deal with it. My
Yeah.
grandmother passed, like, it's almost a year already. She died on November 21st, the day before my birthday. That's the day I won't forget that because there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
But you know, she passed. We were all sad. Um, I had a moment, but I was glad that she lived an extremely long life,
Mhm.
and I was glad she passed because she wasn't in any pain.
Yes.
And I think that's when we get the comfort in death.
Mhm.
But like with D'Angelo, I mean, one, we didn't know. Yes, his family knew that he was ill, he was battling this, but like to everyone else, it's just like it's a shocker. Like, oh my god,
Yeah.
we hadn't seen him for a while, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that you felt like he was here, and then all of a sudden he wasn't.
Yeah. So when it comes to people that we don't have a physical connection with, like I couldn't just call him up, but something about their art, their music, their presence in the world has impacted you. It hits
Mm.
differently. Like when Prince passed away, I told my boss, I am going to Paisley Park. Go ahead, put it on the calendar. Just know hands down, it is happening. And what was so great is that when he did pass away, she came into the office and said, "You need to go home. I don't need you to be here." Because she knew just how much like his work impacted me in my life. So D'Angelo being only 51, you
Yeah.
know, that was my college years. Because it was like what 95 or whatever. Those my college years
Yes.
growing up with it.
Yes.
And so there's this
Yeah.
different relationship with his art and him that hearing that he has transcended, it just hit different. I was like, wait a minute, wait,
It
what?
does something to you.
Yes.
And I think because you can always know where you were in space and time when you heard certain songs, when you have a favorite actor or actress that you love. Like maybe there's something in a movie that a role that they played that you just connect with. There's something about those connections that are meaningful to you. That when a person passes, and when you know don't know they're sick. Because, like you said, we don't have those personal connections.
Yeah.
It hits hard. I remember when Michael Jackson passed. I remember exactly where I was,
Yes.
what I was doing. The same thing with Whitney Houston. And like certain people just like have a special place in your heart and in your mind. And when they're no longer here, even though you don't know them on a personal level, it affects you.
Oh,
It really does.
Michael Jackson, when he passed, I had just left the U.S. Census Bureau office because I was an enumerator once before for New York City. So I was going back again. And I got in a call from my friend Ma L. And I had to literally get off the subway, go to the street and get myself together. And as I looked around, it's almost as if everybody got the news at the same time. Now we're talking New York City. So I get
Yeah.
myself together, I get back on the train, but everybody is sharing their story. We don't know each other at all, but everyone is sharing their favorite story, their favorite song. When you have that kind of wake on the world, that kind of impact, it's amazing. So I want to talk about that as we go into this. And we have some comments. So let me bring up these comments really quick because I got a couple of things in here. But Sean Samuel says, I understand death, but there are just some people that you just expect to be here. If that, I completely get it. I mean, I just knew that Prince was going to give us some kids before he left this earth, but that wasn't in his plan, or I should say his programming, right? But I didn't think he would leave as early as he did. Like, we just, you know what I mean? Lisa says, pancreatic cancer is so hard to catch. I wish some of the news outlets would do a news piece on this type of cancer. I agree there, Lisa. And hello to you, Lisa. Hello to Cass. I know you guys are coming in and we're having this conversation. She also says, I saw a clip where he said he hated to be labeled neo soul. He said he made Black music. I want to talk about that too. I want to get into why he kind of went in sort of like this hermit mode, because I did some research yesterday. I didn't know that a particular song and video and a photo session threw him into a spiral, which was interesting. And NJ says, I had a family friend who passed from pancreatic cancer. It moves extremely fast, moving cancer and hard to detect.
Yeah,
right?
and typically when you get a pancreatic diagnosis, it's already too late.
Yeah, well,
Because
yeah.
it's. I knew a professor of mine in college. We were close for a while, and then when you go out into the world and you're having your life, you kind of lose touch. And I was trying to reconnect with him, and I remember I called to the school and said I was looking because I know he was the dean of graphic design and graphic design at the school that I went to. And they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry you didn't hear." I said, "Hear what?" He was like, "He passed of pancreatic cancer maybe about a month ago." And I don't know why I completely lost it.
Yeah.
And what he did, so he was very conscious and he wanted to bring awareness to it. He documented the last few months of his life on video. And I went back and I watched this whole entire series that he had put up. And at the time, it was pretty much like this really vlogging. And I remember sitting there and just watching this entire series he put together. And you watch this man literally waste away to nothing. And that's the one thing about cancer. For those that have been impacted by it personally, have seen it, cancer eats away at your body. And to see this man become a shell of himself, I don't know. I think like that was like my real first I don't know, like just like seeing it up close and personal. We've had family members that had like, my grandmom and aunts have had breast cancer, but they dealt with it and are breast cancer free now. But he was like the first one, and then afterwards, of course, I told the story about my aunt and how she passed away, and that really just like devastated our family. But pancreatic cancer, man, that's a whole nother type of cancer. That's knock on wood, that's the one you just do not want to get. Not that you want to get cancer at all, but that is the one that sneaks up on you and then it takes you out really fast.
So when I was sitting with this, thinking about some of the songs and the memories I have my CDs. I know some of y'all out there want to stream your music and things. Gwendolyn has her CDs. I even have, I had to bring out my CD
Yes.
liner. And I was like, remember when CD liners included the lyrics to a song?
Yes.
Maybe, and then I would read all of the dedications to kind of see like who's what and what was sampled. And it was like, oh, they mentioned so-and-so's name. Is something going on there? Now, granted, I'm in my 20s. So, we're on the younger side and we're still into who's dating who, kind of whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was sharing yesterday on someone else's podcast, because I am that person who still has CDs in her car. There is a Case Logic CD organizer in my car. Okay, I'm gonna say it. Yes, it's Case Logic. I still have it, and I still play my CDs. I still have a USB drive with music, and then I have a hard drive in the car. But his music still plays in my car. That wasn't added because it's just, I really loved this album because it was the first one. And there are obviously songs from other albums that I enjoyed too. But I just felt like, so let me just bring up CD liners, right? Loved having CD liners and getting the music and knowing the songs and playing it over and over and over again. It was some great memories. So I want to do this as we talk about this, and I'm going to bring up Dr. Tachi's memory about Michael Jackson. But I want to know what some of your favorite memories or songs are of D'Angelo. We want to celebrate that this morning as we get into this. And yeah, Gwendolyn went to a concert too. I'm going to come back to that one, but let me get to the comments. I'm going to come back to that one. As our doctor says, when Michael Jackson passed, one of my students asked if she could turn in her assignment late because he was on heavy rotation in her house when she was young. I said, no, right? Hey. Sometimes, like I said, it really all depends. But he was, it really depends on the relationship you have with some people. Like some people, it could be a writer, it could be an artist, a musician, any of those. If they have any kind of impact on a decision you made or a moment in your life, is going to touch differently, right? Jazzy says to Lisa, most don't know until it's too late. Most aren't, what's that? Symptomatic? I think I got that right. He didn't want to be a sex symbol in that video that we as a women loved him in. He hated it. Yes, Lisa. I learned that when he did the Untitled video, putting his body on display, because it was all about the body, women were like, oh, I'm gonna throw my drawers and some money at you at the concerts. And he felt incredibly uncomfortable after that because he wasn't sure if people were tuning in for his music or for the visual.
There you go.
And I thought, oh wow, because we often see how, depending on who you have for your PR, what have you, that they want you to put your body out there and be this sex symbol and all this stuff, and then you start thinking, how is it impacting that person mentally? Like what's the real cost of following someone's idea for XYZ, selling an album, selling this? It's I was shocked. I was really shocked. That's how I felt after Fife passed away. He had a successful kidney transplant via his wife, and he was doing great. Then he was gone. It was gone. Now, I did say this about his son. He has another child that we never hear about.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, I never knew.
Same here. I was like, I was like, well, that's interesting because I'd only heard about the one. But when I know this is so, like, everybody has their feeling about something. And I've said it before, I don't do loss because I recognize that my family is on loan to me. Right? So I don't lose anybody. The good Lord gave me my loved ones. I have them from a certain time, and then that library book has to be turned back in. But I am left with a life of memories and photos and videos. And my father being the film camera bug he was, there are a lot of film of him. And ridiculous moments, but all good moments, so that he's never gone. He is still here, right? And I go back to it again. Are we supposed to be here forever? Because bodies are like old vehicles. Like these bitches get old. We need tune-up. We have checkups and stuff. I mean, we're replacing knees and hips. I'm trying to. So it's not like he's lost his parents. I mean, there are a lot of people who don't have their family members here, and it can feel like, oh my God, I feel bad for you. Well, it all depends truly too on the relationship, because
Yeah, that part.
Hey,
but then also too, he is an adult.
He's an adult. He's an adult, right? So during my whole cancer situation this past year, I ended up taking a blood test called CA19, which detects pancreatic cancer, but it's not 100%. Thank God mine came back negative. Ms. Lee says, good morning, Lisa. I wish we knew more about the signs of pancreatic cancer. I had a friend who found out she had it in 2 months before she died. She thought she was just losing weight. Whoa. When I say there is so much that is still to be learned about the human body, there is so much. And the fact that we are all individuals, yet all the same, makes it, I mean, we can get close. It would never be like 100%, but we can get close. But there is still so much we have to learn about cancer, and trying to find some way of finding it earlier if we can. As Anthony says, the pancreas is buried. So unless you're digging for it, you won't find it until it's too late. That is true. I forgot about that whole internal body class. What was that? Was that like biology? High school biology? Let me do this last comment, and then we'll get to some more memories here. When things like this happen, I turn to a Google doctor. I was up late looking into pancreatic cancer. It can happen. It can happen. So let's talk about this, right? This is one of my memories. One of my concert vibes back in the day when I was in Houston. So there was a concert that was happening in Houston, and it got canceled, I think due to weather or something. And then they came back, but a lot of people didn't come back. So for those of us who had like standing only and nosebleed seats in this little club, we were able to get up close and personal. It was great. It was really great. I had a great time at this concert. And at that time, like I said, Angie Stone was singing backup. And so because they were there and it was like really quaint, we were able to go in the back and get autographs. And I was like, oh my God, I know Angie Stone. I have her autograph. So memories. For those of you who have gone to a concert, share your best concerts, your best moments. Have you ever seen him play? Chris, did you ever see him play?
I've never. All right, so here's the thing. I've never seen him actually play or in person. But I will say though, the fact that you brought up that you were able to get close and personal, you have photos and signed autographs. Like, I realized how privileged I've been over the last several years to work with, After Seven, and to be able to see so many artists. As a matter of fact, a few of the artists, like I forget the gentleman's name from 2020 Tony. What was his name again? The one that just passed.
Which one?
No, the one that just passed late last year.
Hold on, let me grab my phone here.
The name is eluding me right now. But
why is the name eluding us? That's so awful. I feel so bad.
Last year, I actually he was at one of the music festivals that we were at in Cancun last year, and I was able to see him, and I was just like, wow, I literally just saw him. And I remember being off the side of the stage and saying, he doesn't look well, because he looked really frail. I'm like, he doesn't look well. Coming about like he was sick. I've met Montel Jordan.
Yes.
His cancer just recently came back, and he's battling that again. So I've been privileged to see a lot of these people. And, I saw Frankly Beverly. I met him backstage last year at his show, because After Seven had played before he came on. And I said, he didn't look well either. And I'm like, and literally within like 2 months, he was gone. So, we're all here for a short period of time, but to take full advantage of all the opportunities you can. And just live a good life.
Yes. And it was Dwayne. It was before it even came up. It was Dwayne, right? Dwayne
Yes.
Wiggins. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and there is something about people you're like, it looks kind of. I mean, in my opinion, there is like a healthy weight. And I was like, he does look a little.
No, he looked, and when you see him in person, he looked really, really frail.
Hmm. Hmm. I like how we have from Sean said, "You couldn't tell me I wasn't D'Angelo when me and those dreaming eyes of mine came on. By far my favorite D'Angelo song. I know. There's it's so hard to pick just one. Is where I was. It's like how do I pick just one of the songs? Because I like them. I like a lot of them, right? But Lady does play a lot in my car. Me and those dreaming eyes of
Mm.
mine. All right, I love that one as well. So there's a couple. I'm just like, oh man, which is why I have a love hate relationship with Untitled. I love the song, but I hate how it made him feel. Yeah, I was. We just don't know. Like we see people and we have these assumptions that. So somebody's version of masculinity is to be big and buff and shredded and put my chest out and always on. Yeah, right. And I know this is a family show, but studies have shown that dudes who do a lot of lifting can't do a lot in other places. I'm just gonna put it out there for you ladies, just in case you didn't know. But in this Chris is like, Gwendolyn, stay on task.
No, no, no. Go. We gonna go with it.
I'm just saying, it's like all show and no go. But in this particular case, it wasn't something that brought him up. It wasn't something that raised his self-esteem. It actually did the opposite. Really took him down a different path. And it's interesting that, we see it, we're like, oh my God, look at his chest, look at this. And that was not a positive
Can I
experience
say
for him.
something about that?
Yes, by all means.
The one thing that I've learned with my very short time in working in the quote unquote music industry and seeing how those people move.
Mhm.
If you're not a strong-willed person, that industry can really destroy your soul. This was something that probably his marketing team or the label said, you need to do this. I think this is what's going to sell records. And it doesn't matter if he actually wanted to do it or not, especially when you're just coming out.
Mhm.
These A&R people, they tell you what to do. You do it because you need to recoup the money that they gave you as an advance, for
Mhm.
one. And I would not be surprised. The reason why he felt as though he didn't like this and it probably put him in a depression or whatever is because this is not something he wanted to do. This is probably something he was told, yeah, you need to do this to sell
Yeah.
this album, to sell that record. A lot of
Mhm.
these artists, unless you are writing your own music, you have control of your catalog, you can do whatever you want to do. But most times you're indebted to these music labels. When they sign you, they give you that signing bonus. That signing bonus means absolutely nothing because you end up owing them money.
Yes. Yep, you're in debt.
These artists use that money to go buy all the flashy gold and the cars, and it means absolutely nothing because most times they are so indebted. And
Mhm.
that's why a lot of these artists turn to alcohol and drugs. They're so
Yes,
fucking stressed out.
which he did.
Because
He did turn to alcohol just, but it was I want to say it was after a close friend passed away that he went down that road. But it's interesting, like when he talked about he wasn't sure if they were there for him as in looks or his music. That to me says he was about the music. It was always about the music. And sometimes, in this business, you can choose to follow the model that everybody else has followed, right? So you're out there, you're you're wearing your skimpies and you're doing the BBL and the whatever to get the attention. And then there are other people who were like, I don't need all of that. I'm going to stick with my music. My music will do what it has to do, and I'm going to
Mhm.
be just fine. You really have to choose how much you want to give up for whatever it is that you say you really want.
But I mean,
You
you can
know?
always tell like the real artist versus the manufacturer artist. A lot of the artists, especially that we grew up with, um, they tended to a lot of times recede into the shadows for a while because they realized what this
Mhm.
music industry was doing. And when they come back, you know, um, they do it on their terms. And they're okay with not being the most popular or famous. They live on that legacy that they left behind, but then now they're doing it for the love of
Yes.
for themselves and for the fans.
Yes, yes. Let me go to Lisa's comment. She says we need to be our own advocates because the doctors will definitely tell you you are fine or you don't need a certain test. Trust your gut, push for your health, which is the biggest change because we are told from a very young age, trust your doctor, trust the cops, trust this. And now when you're like, wait a minute, hold up, we need some discernment. And by the way, Dr. Tati says you have beautiful teeth.
Who's she
Completely
talking
unrelated,
to?
Chris. Your teeth are beautiful.
Well, listen, thank you so much. My mother paid a lot of money for them.
I know, right? Hey, the pancreas is also what controls the insulin in our body. Thank you, Ms. Elise, for sharing that with us. People need to know, like, we do take some things for granted. And as I was talking to my cousin, because we were getting a lot of news, we've been getting a lot of news the beginning of the year. But we're at that age where there are more people going than coming.
Yeah.
That is the reaction. She said, I wish I was about to see him live. And thank you, Kimmy. Something said that the answer was in our comments here, and I wasn't going to get to it fast enough. And I said, wait, isn't that Dwayne?
Yeah.
But yes, it is. Saw him at the Verizon Center when Voodoo released. The energy in that room was magnetic. Here is the deal, people. And when I think about people who won't be able, get my words out, to see like Michael Jackson live or Prince live, I'm like, yeah, but there's video. And even with the video, you can still feel the genius. Because when I put on the DVD of Prince live in Las Vegas, bruh, hey, it is. If I'm cleaning, I'm no longer cleaning because I am transfixed on the TV. I mean, you can still feel it. You can still feel it.
There are certain artists that can do that to you.
Yes. Everybody has that one. Now I don't want to talk about these youngins out here because I don't really know about their musicianship when it comes to putting on a concert. I mean, I was still going to concerts up until like maybe 2016, but they were smaller. So I'm looking at the Roots, and the Roots actually play instruments, right?
Yes.
So it's not like going to some place and just.
I will say this, and since we're talking about music and musicians and artists and artistry, I think right now, for me, the artists that are really out there that will transcend time, two that I can really think of that I saw this past summer. And this first one might be a little controversial because it's either you love her or you hate her, but Beyonce is one of those people.
Oh, yeah, she's on the list. Yeah, she's on there.
And then also, I think this is a sleeper. A lot of people are just really getting introduced to her, but she's been out for a long time. Cynthia Erivo is generational.
She will. I mean,
she is amazing. I'm literally getting goosebumps right now.
I was talking with somebody about who else would be one of those really big ones, because obviously Michael Jackson, that was worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Prince, people were flying over to Paisley Park to put up their memorial. I could see Beyonce being on that list of like when she goes, there's going to be a kerfuffle.
Yeah.
I believe Cynthia's on there. I would even say Taylor Swift is on there too, because depending on how young you start, you get to have a generation of people see you grow and you become one with them and all of their life memories.
I agree with you.
Stevie Wonder.
I'm not a huge Stevie Wonder. Absolutely, I think there's going to be an outcry, just like how like Aretha Franklin was another one when she passed. But I think let's not underestimate Taylor Swift. I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan, whatever, but I can recognize her artistry and her power in music. Certain people just have it. Diana Ross is another one, another generational.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like those type of people. I think that there are a handful of people, of artists, that will stand the test of time, and I think we just listed some of those, some of the ones to come.
Yes. Dr. Touch says that her favorite is Another Life. Miss Lee says life is finite. Living life, not just existing, is how I'm moving through life. Yes, there are some people who are so afraid to die, but they're also afraid to live. So they do not. I don't understand that. I don't get that.
Yeah.
This is why I always said, be kind. You truly never know what someone is going through. Amen to that,
Yep.
Jazzy. He has a few generations that are into him, and his death will bring more people to his music. I agree
Yep.
with that as well. Lisa Bryson says, I don't have any favorites of his songs, but only Sweet Sticky Thing. Thank you. I have not seen many concerts due to always working, school, other responsibilities growing up. During college years, I did see Badu with college friends. Later saw K. Cole and others. It's just different to go to a concert and see people.
It
As in
is.
nowadays, I don't know what they're doing really. I'm not gonna lie about that. I don't know. And I don't think at this point in my life, the crowd thing, I'm just gonna get agitated.
Yeah.
It's not good for me. It's not good.
I like
I would
smaller
love,
venues. I like
yeah.
smaller venues. Like, who was another good one too? Tweet. We saw her last summer at City Winery. Oh, the girl can sing. And she was like bringing church up in the place. She's
Yes,
another
I'm
good
good.
one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good for I'm at that age of I need this, like you said, a smaller venue. And
Yeah.
I want to go in, sit down, hear the music. Now I did take that back. I did do the Revolution came to the House of Blues here in Dallas, like I think like
Mm,
2017, I want to say. And it was great. We loved it. Absolutely. I was like screaming and yelling, and it was, but again, these are, forgive me, Lord, real musicians playing real music. So
yeah.
I said it. I
Yeah.
said, the price of fame is costly, Omar says.
Indeed.
Absolutely had no choice, I'm sure. The label has their vision and they got to recoup their money. That is true. D'Angelo was an artist meaning that he was really in it for the music. He even said it in his interview. Yeah, people, there's a different approach to it when you're in it for the music, in my opinion. He was a small town church guy who didn't know how to handle the fame.
And most great artists start out in the church. And when they get into pop music, and the music industry, it's that constant battle of I want to do my music, but I now need to be commercial and
Yeah.
listen to what these labels are telling me.
I the the job, the task, the challenge of staying true to self is easier said than done. And you really got to fight back on that. You got to fight back on it. And a lot of us start one way and then we figure out and we get back to our roots. And sometimes some of us never get back to our roots. I mean, that's just the way it
Mm.
is. As Lisa says here, she was surprised to see me break down yesterday. I don't know why, but I see you as a superwoman. Not fair, I know, but seeing you made me cry. Here's the deal. And I say this often. I don't apologize for crying on air. I am human.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I know this society likes to make us feel as if we should hide every sense of emotion. Boys don't cry, don't do this,
Bullshit.
don't do that, and apologize for everything. Exactly. That's that bullshit. We are human. Okay. If you kick me, I'm liable to punch you back while I'm crying, punching you back. But we are going to show all the emotions.
Yep. I'm not even going front. I'm gonna cry. I know I am, and
Yes. I
I
mean, it's
own up
just,
to. I
this
own
is
that.
where it is. People are like, oh, no, it's like, no. We are, it's okay to cry. Yes, you should. Like, I see so many interviews when people are talking about very personal, traumatic experiences. They're like, oh my God, I'm sorry. It's like, but why are you apologizing? You are human, damn it.
Yep.
You got feelings. Your loved one was assaulted. You have every right to be angry, upset, and all the things. We have to show our emotion. So yes, I just had to blow my nose, and that's not really cool on camera. I would like to
It's
see
okay.
Michael Jackson and Jackson 5. Hey, that's sweet. Lisa Jazzy says, I agree with that, but I will say that pancreatic cancer develops so rapidly that often there are no symptoms and it doesn't show up on the scans. Anthony's talking about the signing bonus is an advance with the understanding that they got to work it off, and comes off the top when the money is made. That is true. Now, I will say this, because you guys are sharing all of your favorite memories. Absolute favorite is Stevie Wonder. Whitney Houston definitely was on that list. We know that. I'll say this: Justin Timberlake is the biggest one. I don't know about Justin. He may get a little bit something, but I don't know if he got the worldwide, like the worldwide. I'm not sure he's got.
I think he had a moment. I don't think he's there.
Yeah, I don't know if he got it like that. Like I said,
Yeah.
people flew over to Minneapolis and were at Paisley Park putting up their memorials on the gate. I flew in and put up my memorial on the gate, right? And I mean, they were from all over. It's a different level, it's a different echelon. I mean, I'm not saying that he hasn't touched some lives, but there's another
Right.
level with,
Yes.
in that influence. So DMX, 50 Coolio, 59. Who is this? All these people. Oh, their ages. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was
That's
like,
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
figure out the code. What's the code? So DMX was 50, Coolio was 59. Who is MF Doom? All right, he was 49. Craig Mack was 47. Nate Dogg was 41. Prodigy 42. Shock G 57. Black Rob 51. Irv Gotti 54. DJ Mr. C 57. Rico Wade 52. Who's that? True Joy, The Dove 54. Five Dog 45. Biz Markie 57. D'Angelo at 51. Health is the wealth, people. Now, I know
All
some of this
young.
you can't pick up on, but health is wealth. Yeah, yeah. So let me do this. Chris, you have any thoughts? Because I do have two other stories. We may not get to them today, but some of the, like, one of them we could always talk about whatever, because it's one of those stories. And then another one, I do want to make people aware of it, just because if they have a Ring camera, they should be aware of it.
Oh no, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that. Smaller venue, and yes, the seating. This whole standing room only, I don't have it. And I have
If I'm going somewhere, if I can't sit, I'm not going.
Right.
I
need
ain't
to
20.
sit down, enjoy myself. Versus,
that part. If I want to stand, I have the option to stand, but I need a seat.
I need a seat. I love going to see things in smaller venues. Back in the day, BET had a restaurant concert venue called BET Soundstage. I saw lots of people there, including Chico DeBarge, El DeBarge, and more. Oh, I think I have a Chico DeBarge CD.
I've seen El DeBarge several times in person, backstage.
DeBarge CD. I think I do. I may want to go into that. Okay, let me do these last few ones, and we're going to get to that story. The concert they are doing now with Pat LaBelle, Chaka Khan, G Knight, and Stephanie Mills, I am sure is.
I think that just ended.
Did that just ended?
I think it just ended. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Roots came to this place called the Fillmore in Silver Spring, Maryland, and after the show, I stayed around with about 20 people, and they hung out and talked. They are extremely nice. I love the smaller venues. It's something about being able to be that close to people and just really get into the music and not all the other stuff. Now, I do remember I pretended that I was sick so that I could go to Austin and see Common and Mos Def and, Black Star, right? Black Star. So it's Mos Def and Talib and Common. Man, that was a bad concert, man.
I'm sure.
That was hitting. It was hitting back then, man. It was hitting. So yes, there was good times. Let me, I'm going to come back to the comments, but I want to go to this next story because I want you guys to be aware of this. Be aware of what's going on. Ring is introducing search party on cameras to help people find their pets. Okay. Now, I know you're saying, Gwendolyn, I don't understand why that's like such a big deal. Here's what the big deal is. And here's why I use quotation. Now, it is called search party. So if you have a Ring camera, do check your system because it's automatically enabled, but it's going to allow people to share video so they can find their pets. But you need to understand how surveillance works sometime. We know that Ring has already been helping authorities with giving them camera footage. So don't think right here, right now. Think long-term how all of this surveillance, how it's actually going to be used. Now, I turn mine off. Personally, if you can't keep your pet, you shouldn't have a pet. Okay. That's my thought about that. But really think about the surveillance aspect of this and where that data goes. I was also reading that they're working in some other program to help with facial recognition. Although it is a Freudian slip, we know where it's going. Yes, facial recognition. So before you just say, yeah, I want to help my neighbors find their pet. Look.
Here's the thing about that. So at my parents' house, I had gotten them Ring cameras. This is like a decade and a half ago. All right, when Ring kind of just was coming out, it was when Ring was Ring. For those that do not know, Google owns Ring, and one of the things we need to be very aware of, Google is a type of company where they give you all this stuff, quote unquote, for free, but it comes at a price. You are giving up your freedoms to have all of these, quote unquote, free services. So, and this has happened so many times where people that should not be having access to your cameras are having access to your cameras. So if you have, you can have these devices, just don't pay into the services. Because, like for instance, you can have a Ring camera and have it stored locally on a drive in your home,
Mhm.
and not have it be broadcast online. You pay for those services. So if you don't pay for that, it just becomes a local thing.
Yes.
So take that with a grain of salt. Just be aware that when you are buying these services, you're giving up a lot of your personal rights and freedoms. In order for
Yes.
them to make these services, quote unquote, free, you're giving away a lot.
Yes. With any kind of convenience or free something, you give up something. Free
Free
ain't
ain't free.
free. Let's just make sure we're clear about that. Before I get into
Yeah.
this next one, and we run through these next couple comments because I want to clear up our queue. As Anthony says, I'm so thankful I got to see a lot of great artists before they passed away, with D'Angelo being the latest. Before that, it was Dave from De La Soul. Oh, emotions are a good thing. Yes, they are. It means that you understand some things, right?
You
You
care.
understand some things. So I am like, we are all about the emotions. Having been a stylist of some of your faves, they were not in the meetings with the label about how the label wanted me to make them look. They showed up to set and had to wear what I got them. No choice. Yeah, hey, there is a price for everything. You have to decide how much you want to pay for some of this. Was the BET soundstage in Disney, Dr. Tachi? Okay, so we're talking the soundstage still. And I just froze. What is going on? You know what? I don't understand technology. Now, we've been working very well all week. All week. We come
Well, you
here.
froze a little bit yesterday too, but you have no control over that.
I know. I was like, what is going on? Oh, there was one in Studio DC, and then there's one in Orlando too. I see we are still talking about the one in Disney. This is the soundstage. And Anthony says, hey, I saw The Roots. They opened and played for Goody Mob at the House of Blues in New Orleans. Ew, that should have been really good. Let me do this because I know we only have a few minutes left, but let's get into this one. And this is a topic that I don't care what day or time it is always relevant. Oh, Stephen A. And men like Stephen A. who have a very obvious disdain for Black women. Can we go there real quick, Chris?
I'm over him.
You know what? Let me just say it like this. I'm so over these people, and I'm going to say it like that to get them all in the bucket, who want to shuck and jive to get something somewhere. I don't, for somebody who doesn't really have, and it's not like I'm knee deep in the political sphere as well. I know this much. I'm not going to talk about somebody who is doing something for her constituents, i.e. he made comments about Jasmine Crockett. And I'm not going to tell that person, well, he's the guy in charge. Maybe what you ought to do is say, well, how can I work with him? And maybe I can get something. So the idea is to like lay down and roll over. What like, are you serious right now? Really?
Let me tell you, you know what this is all about? Everybody wants to be fucking relevant right now. And this is his way of being relevant. Because honestly, sir, you're not.
Mm-mm.
And you attacking Black women, especially her who, as you said, is doing something for her people. You need to go shut up, sit out, and take a seat.
Yes. And let's just be honest about people like him, the Black men like him, because there are Black men like him. They are always talking in a negative manner about Black women. I have yet to see him say anything positive, and I mean that. If someone has that video, please send it to me. I'm open to seeing the 15-second moment that may exist. That may. It is always this thing, and I don't even understand what it is. Like, I do sit down and I run through what is going on, what mental gymnastics are you running through to get to this place? I want to understand, because before that he made comments about Serena, did he not?
He probably did. I don't listen to him. The only time I see the sound bites, and that still irritates me.
Yes.
I can't.
Yes. Yeah. Now I did not. I don't watch him. It never fails that when when he does open his mouth and insert said foot, that everything else comes up, right? Now, I have not seen the response that Serena's husband made to him. Haven't seen it. I have to be in a really good mood to sit down for most things anyway. But I find it baffling that there is this constant conversation, but it's always in a negative light. It is never anything that is positive, that is saying, wow, she's doing it. But I just thought to myself, how is it that you are telling this young lady who is doing what she can for her constituents? She was elected. She is doing her job, that instead of fighting for her people, she's got to figure out how to make it work and get in this guy's good graces, and maybe she could get something for her constituents. It's like, if that's not the sellout playbook, I don't know what is. I was like, you just could have stayed on mute. In fact, you didn't even have to put her name in your mouth if that was your advice, sir.
But see, that's where he's trying to be relevant, because he's riding off of her coattails.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. You have no original ideas of your own. You're not doing anything for your community.
Lisa says all these men are jockeying to be the new Kevin Samuel. Okay. I didn't even listen to him. Somebody sent me one link way back when, and I think I got it like maybe 15 seconds. And I'm on to the next. It confuses me how many people, men and women, listen to some of this BS. It just is so confusing. And when I say I sit down and write a lot of stuff down, I'm like, I want to understand, because I don't want to just say people are simple. That's rude. There is a reason why they're doing what they're doing. I do agree with Lisa. There's a lot of these guys trying to take his spot, where, here I am, this guy who has all the ideas on how you as Black woman are less than and can get a man like this. And this is why I don't understand that. I'm struggling to understand it, but he is a clown. He is straight clown. And yes, you know what? Charlemagne the God, Cam Newton, he on that list. He on that list. They are on the list. And
listen, just put them all in a room. Put them all in a room together and just let them go at each other, because honestly, that's all they're going to do. He's another joker.
Jazz says he's a MAGA clown who doesn't deserve energy and airtime people are giving him, even in the attacks. I agree. So some of this stuff, I say to myself, we got to not give them the energy. Now, this isn't about him specifically, although it isn't. But at some point, we have to say, people like this, well, Stephen, they have a disdain for his haircut. I'm sorry. Oh God, Dr. Taji, I was on, and then there you go. But there are people like him. I mean, there is just this continuation of certain people who are just trying to find out how to get their little bit of 15 minutes of fame. And if that means degrading somebody else who may look like you, then they are all in. And then try to pretend like, no, I really am here. I'm on your side. I'm one of the good guys. I'm here to help you.
Thing. They do all these things to get their 15 minutes, and then something will come out about him, and then he's going to want our support. Yes. And I'll be the first one to say, don't look my direction, because you ain't getting it.
Yes. So as we wrap this up, Lisa said, yes, he did, but her husband recently checked him. Yeah. I just don't get the need to keep putting Black women's names in your mouth. It's like, there's so much to talk about. There is so much. You ain't got to talk about none of these women. And they're not dating you. You have no relationship. Why you even like what exactly? And it's that 15 minutes of fame. Talking about somebody else who is doing good must be really hard for Stephen A. with all the tap dancing, man. And I mean major tap dancing. He was on some right-wing something some time ago, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? Wait, what? There are just I keep going back to, I want to understand. Like, I want to understand how someone like 50 Cent could have a show on Fox News. Now, I want to understand how someone like 50 Cent could even be over there. right? Because you know what the system has done. I know where you've come from. And then the moment you get your little bit of change, you go shucking and jiving. I'm not. What?
Listen, it's this. It is
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, he said, I tried to watch after Shannon went to the show, but didn't make it. I'm down to 2 shows on ESPN. You better me, I'm down to, I ain't got none on watch TV. Here's the thing, though, it's working because people are talking about him. You are right, Jazzy. So that goes back to, we have to stop giving these people airspace, like giving them any kind of air. We just need to suffocate it. We need to suffocate it. Like, there has to be a way to have a conversation about men who do this to Black women without making them the whole focus, because he's not the focus here. I want to understand why Black men keep doing this stuff. And I'm not saying all Black men. I said Black men like him who have a disdain for Black women.
And a lot of times those are the ones that, one, they're not with Black women. So that's why they attack Black women.
Yeah.
That part.
Woo, that part. She said, these men are the biggest pick-me's I've ever seen. And the biggest pick-me's, as Kimmy _2. See, I got it. Kimmy. He should stay in his lane. He should stay in his lane. He said 50 Cent is the president of He-Man Black Women Hater Club.
Okay.
There is a hate there, which is why I say this particular topic, we can talk about it today. We can talk about it any day, because this is one of those issues that we in our community need to have a discussion about. It doesn't have to be him specifically, but as Kimmy says, my husband watches First Take, stay there. But he is also the Soap General Hospital. He's also the Soap General Hospital. Okay. Yeah. And 50 Cent, like I said, he has all the qualifications. None. That's all you to know on faux news. I know hey. And who the House said he would be a good candidate of the yeah, somebody did say that. Somebody said that he should run for the Democratic Party.
Oh.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it.
Next comments.
Somebody said it, and I was like, I don't understand. Because, if you don't have any qualifications and you got something, then you are qualified, I guess, to be there. So let me do this as I wrap this up, because I didn't do it yesterday, but I'm going to do it today. Ron Foster has an email. Guys, he has a newsletter. You need to get on it. Join his email list today. You can get service updates, industry news, monthly trends. You can be in the know. And now that he's going to be out and about globetrotting, you want to know what's going down with Mr. Foster. You want to get on that list. He also is an event photographer. So check him out at Ron Lewis Photos. You may have an event. He can tell your story with images. And sincere thanks to all the Patreon members. Your support helps us create amazing content. We do appreciate you. And if you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to the Ron Foster. Was it Ron Lewis Photos YouTube channel? Like it, like it, subscribe, tell a friend to tell 5 friends. And that is going to be, that would be lovely. That would be lovely. Chris, any parting words as I go through these very last comments?
Come out and have a good day. Enjoy the world, live life a little bit. And then also go and check out, we've got a new show, a new series on the official conference call YouTube channel. It is called What You're Watching. The first episode premiered on Monday, so it's up. We talked about Love is Blind. So for those that are watching that series, everyone knows that this season is pure trash, and we had a great time talking about it, so go watch that.
Maybe I will watch it, because I don't watch TV like that, but maybe I'm going to watch it, because you guys get me to watch a lot of stuff that I probably wouldn't watch.
Well,
not because I don't want to watch it, because I don't like sitting down to watch stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
but
no, I get it.
as we end with this, Lisa says, you would be surprised how many of the rich black celebrities are down with them. It's about money, not about our blackness, unfortunately. That's a conversation topic for a different day, people, and I am here for it. She said, I'm gonna clip that eye roll. Great conversation.
I can't hide this.
You guys, thank you guys for being here with us, for sharing your D'Angelo memories and having this quick conversation. Ron Foster will be back eventually, but tomorrow, Chris is going to have the keys to the
I got the keys back tomorrow.
Yes, we're back tomorrow.
And watch Thursday.
All right. We're good. See you guys.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.